So remember what I said ages ago when we started Marie's social link? It's on a deadline, and that deadline is fast approaching. But at this point, Marie is available every single day of the week. So if you haven't maxed her out by now, it's quite easy to do so. And speaking of which, okay, so Marie's deadline is completing Adachi's dungeon. And speaking of which, I need to talk about how we're going to handle this. Because we found the killer, he's taunted us to go and catch him. We know that he murdered 2 women for basically no reason at all, and the guy is a complete scumbag. On top of all that, Inaba is covered in fog, and by the end of the year, the entire town will be destroyed and overrun with shadows, and the TV world will merge with the real world. So what are we going to do? We're going to wait and put off completing Adachi's dungeon until the last possible moment. Well, actually, almost the last possible moment. And that might seem a bit weird, but there is actually a reason for this. Once you complete Adachi's dungeon, the game will time skip to the end of the year, and you will lose all the days in December. All of that gone, your chance to do social links, preparations, everything, you will lose all of that time if you catch Adachi early. Also test results. So that's what we're going to do. We're actually going to go in on the second last possible day. Because if we go in on the last possible day, which I think is the 23rd, the game will actually skip Christmas Eve. But if you go in the day before that, the game will time skip to the 23rd, and we will get Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve isn't like anything super major, it's just an optional event with a romantic social link, or not. Because you can also spend it with Kanji, Teddy, and Yosuke, those 3. If you either choose that, or if you don't have any romances. It's just an optional scene, it does give you an item, but, like, it's not a great item, but obviously I want to show that, because it's, you know, it's thematic and it's a nice scene. So we're gonna avoid skipping that scene, but we are going to wait until the last possible moment that doesn't skip that day. So just fair warning, we are going to be spending pretty much all of December doing social links, doing preparations, and not finishing Adachi's dungeon for a little while. It's easy to forget all this due to the craziness that just happened, but we have just received our exam results, which means we need to talk to Miss Sofue, and we also need to remember to do something once we get back home. And once again, Mike Wazowski face. Well, I mean, the quest for knowledge is definitely important right now, that everyone's just lost sight of the truth. And yeah, no one learning anything in class. I feel like this is all connected. No one really wants to know anything anymore. They just rather everything be covered by fog. And Tanaka's certainly making a heck of a lot of money out of those gas masks. Well, I mean, I suppose that guy maybe has the right idea. I don't know, is that guy jealous or what? He'd probably lecture us pretty heavily if we got low scores. Okay, that is slightly starting to slip into Adachi mentality there. Just be careful of that. Oh, Miss Kashiwagi is out here. Yeah, when she's outside the office, it usually means she has an exam reward for you. Yeah, I don't like that. Please stop now. Okay, so you actually aren't going to give us anything this time. We're going to have to wait a little bit for our next exam reward from her, but it's something that I've really been looking forward to. Huh, yeah, there's definitely a cause for this, but it's far from natural. That's the problem with, these kind of urban fantasies. People who aren't in on all of the fantastical stuff just won't have any idea what's going on and can't find any real cause for what's happening. I just wanted to check around with everyone and see how people are doing in the fog. Yeah, the fact that he managed to do that well on exams, even with all of the Nanako stuff, is pretty insane. Yeah, the whole time you were worrying about her. I don't actually know if I've shown this before. Oh right, we can't actually do it now. If you talk to a romantic social link that is maxed, you get the option to spend time with them. But we can't do that now there's an active dungeon. And if this was the PS2 version, we actually wouldn't be able to do that at all, because... Did I mention this before, that in the PS2 version, this was actually, like, the end of the main storyline? Like, once you finish Adachi's dungeon, that was it. The game would time skip to the end. Also, it seems like the fog has partially brought back apathy syndrome from P3. Looks like it's getting even worse. Like, everything actually looks almost grainy now. And again, we've basically got apathy syndrome going on. And now you're wearing a gas mask. Yeah, this is TV World Fog. It's probably only poisonous if you believe it is. Definitely seems better than her mother, at least. Oh, the three of them are out now. Okay, then. Today, we're apparently going to be seeing Marie, but we were told our relationship would become closer soon the last time we drew a fortune. But the guide still says it's a spend time. This might actually be another one of those 0.5 ranks. I'm not sure, but I suppose we'll find out. It doesn't really matter if we don't have an Aeon persona for this, since we're gonna go to rank 10, although if we're not, then, I don't know, maybe I should get an Aeon persona just in case. Well, I've made a save anyway. I guess I can try. So, on the subject of the Velvet Room, though... Oh, and it does say our relationship will deepen. Okay, then. So it probably is rank 10. Someone actually in the comments was talking about the reason for Teddy being in the Velvet Room, and
Let's go.
I think it actually makes a lot of sense. He and you entered into a contract at the start of this story to find the killer, which means he's someone bound by a contract, and therefore he can enter the Velvet Room. Being bound by the same contract as us, he can enter our Velvet Room. It actually is kind of cool the way that works out. Oh, this actually must be another one of these mandatory spend times again, so yeah, this is actually another 0.5.
Oh.
Because I know this is definitely not her rank 10. Apparently Kanji counts as a babe, as does Yosuke. Yeah, there's actually 2 of these.
Well, see ya.
And so I said we had something to do tonight. If you check on... Where is it? If we check... yeah, the cushion where Nanako originally sits. And once again, I am dying. So, she may not be here, but we can still get this exam award. And this item is really, really interesting. Partial award, it's protagonist only, and this description is a bit misleading. When it says one use, it means once per battle, not ever. Originally, I didn't equip this because I thought that it was going to be one of those, like, you know, too awesome to use items. You know, I don't want to consume Nanako's exam reward forever, after all, but then I found out by looking it up, I think it was the SMT wiki that did this. The SMT wiki is usually pretty good about item and skill effects. I suppose I can check if there's any, like, we can probably finish Office Work Manual. But yeah, I checked, and it turns out that, yes, the effect is once per battle, so it basically gives us the Endure skill. Yes, we feel like this will be a great help when we work at our part-time letter-making job that we never do. I mean, we could do it at some point just for the money, but it's really not that useful. Oh yeah, and more diligence when we've already maxed it. That's important. You might notice that I'm definitely off on the schedule when it comes to... Well, not much on the schedule, okay. I'm not reading the same books that the guide is reading at this point. But we have plenty of time to read all of the books. I'm just focusing on the one that give actual effects before I focus on the ones that raise stats, because, you know, those aren't going to be useful now that we've maxed all of our stats. So there are some sources that say Yukiko and Yosuke were originally considered for the killer, but they found their motives were too generic, apparently. There's also a very persistent rumor that the killer was originally meant to be Dojima, but it was changed at the last minute after focus groups, or whatever the video game equivalent of focus groups is, found it too horrifying. But I have not found any official confirmation of that anywhere, like in interviews or anything like that. So if you do have any evidence of that, then, like, please tell me, but I'm gonna take that with a grain of salt. I used to believe this was canon, but then someone told me that it was never officially confirmed. And, you know, Persona 4, you're not supposed to put much stock in rumors. There was another question about bears, wasn't there? Fuzzy Wuzzy color? I like how one of the answers is, I still say white. I don't believe you! But no, it's actually transparent. Which I'm pretty sure is actually true. There are a lot of interesting things about the way that our brains perceive colour and how colour actually works and what colour the sky and the sea really are that I always found kind of interesting looking into when I was younger, and even now. Yeah, they talk about things like the world is a product of cognition. The thing is that, like, everyone's brain does perceive everything completely differently, but it's impossible to see the world through someone else's eyes, so we'll never know that. Oh, fight with my friends, not for my friends, so you are not Ike. Oh boy, yeah, everyone is really panicking right now. This is even more terrifying, because I can honestly believe that. Considering the origins of this fog and what it represents. It's kind of hard to believe that we haven't been to the dungeon since last time, because it feels like we have with all of those massive plot reveals that just happened, but we haven't, so all of my personas are completely the same as they were before the whole Namatame TV incident. So I still have Andra. Let's spend time with Ai.
Sure.
I don't know why it's called Andra in this game and not Andras. They fixed that in later games, but it's... I think it was... Actually, I don't know if it even was in Persona 3. I want to say it wasn't in Persona 3 at all. Oh no, this is the point where there was some massive jerks. No, that's actually not true. It would have been true if we'd chosen the quote-unquote wrong option earlier, but... well, I mean, you know... he has no idea who he's actually competing with at this point. The guy with maxed out social stats and who can summon mythological figures and fight the repressed emotions of humanity in the TV world, but yeah.
Huh?
Okay then, yeah, let's help. Now definitely feels like a, pretty harsh time to be getting this rank up. Reminds me of a certain someone. You can actually say any of these here. Yeah, see, this time it's them who are protecting you. It's not often it happens like that in social links. So this is the thing, before she'd be completely terrified of the idea of her face being swollen. But yeah, she seems to be a lot stronger now, although that guy is still, yeah, that guy should get expelled for sure. Or suspended at the very least.
See you again.
Hopefully I will never again be attracting those kind of people. And so, once again, it's yet another night with not a lot to do except read more. So, next up, Easy Origami. I actually did have some books on origami as a kid. Origami has always been, I guess, kind of interesting to me, but I don't think I was particularly good at it. Like, true origami only uses, like, one sheet of paper and doesn't use any glue or scissors or anything like that. Some of the things in these kids' origami books were, like, cheating, and so they actually did require glue or scissors, but there were some that didn't. I remember one of them was like a space-themed one, and there was a copyright-friendly X-Wing in there. It was definitely an X-Wing, but they just didn't refer to it as one. That classic lawsuit-dodging technique. I mean, it could have been a number of things, but with this fog going on... And people are already starting bogus things like this. I wonder if they're run by that person that we met during Operation Babe Hunt 2. Yeah, sure, you just need to pay a small fee to join, and then additional fees every month, and then as you move up the ranks, you have to pay even more, and then you get an incentive for getting more people to join the club, and then they get an incentive for inviting more people, but it's definitely not some kind of pyramid scheme, at all. My hair in real life is actually kind of curly. It normally isn't, but it does go weird sometimes in humidity. And it's the willpower. That kind of reminds me of isn't there a WarioWare minigame where someone just spontaneously grows hair just by willing it? I feel like this kind of thing could be used as evidence by police. It might be how they sometimes determine who hair belongs to. We don't need these knowledge increases, but we're still gonna get them anyway, just because, you know, it looks better to give the right answer. And this isn't P5, where you can cheat and use the internet for the answer. Well, I mean, you can, you just need to use an outside resource from the game. Okay, so today we're doing strength. That's interesting. Do I have a strength persona? It looks like I do not. While I'm out here, I'm actually going to go ahead and check the Velvet Room just in case there's any, really good fusion forecast today. Yeah, the fog is really awful right now. Although, when I think of fog, I just keep thinking of the Pokemon fog, which has always just been a really awful weather condition, and I'm glad it's not in a lot of the newer games. No fusion forecast today. Oh, okay then. That's interesting. But it's using a judgment persona, not actually making one. I was wondering if I could make Trumpeter on a skill change day, because I have all of the right components. Okay, I am not going to make the same mistake that I did last time. I am registering Spellmaster Skadi. So now I have easy access to Spellmaster whenever I want. Well, it'll just cost a lot of money. So I just have this idea here. Basically, I need to remember the 15th and the 19th of December, because they have some interesting fusion forecasts. But in order to make use of the one on the 15th, I'm going to need Belial, who sadly is going to require me to give up Sraosha and Daisorjal for now. But I really like Sraosha, but this is going to give Spellmaster. So, oh hey, Repel Physical. Interesting. I want Spellmaster. Okay, the persona that I'm fusing to does naturally learn Mind Charge and Megadola, so I don't need to pass those. But I would kind of like some kind of magical attack that isn't almighty, or possibly Masaku Unda too. That's not a bad skill either. But I am going to be getting Debilitate soon, one way or another, so I guess I'll go for Bufudine. Please don't be an accident, that would be awful. Thank you, no accident. There we go. Yeah, so these skills on Belial might seem weird to you because he seems to be more of a physical persona, but it'll all make sense later. Oh, we also get Argidine. No weaknesses at all, and Repel Dark is kind of solid. Endure Lights. I mean, I'm not going to use Myriad Arrows on you anyway. And it is your skill card ability, so I may as well keep it. Huh, Fire Amp. That's also not bad to pass down to the thing that I kind of want to pass stuff down to. And Mararchidine. Well, I have Repel Fire, so there's no real risk to myself with this. If I hit any enemies with Repel. Now, I'm pretty sure I have Nebiros, who's the other component of this secret fusion. But what skills do I have on him? I actually do not have Nebiros, so I'll need to remember to get him later. Well, I mean, I can make him out of Belial, but that means that I will need to pay quite a lot to, yeah, get him back. Oh, I can get some very, very good defensive skills with this combination, though. Like, I could get Absorb, Absorb, Repel, Repel. And if Belial has Spellmaster, I don't need Spellmaster on you, so I guess I can go with Auto Mataru. Still weak to light, unfortunately. I've always kind of liked the way that Nebiros looks. Oh, you learn Mind Charge. Okay. Not really going to pass that down via inheritance, though. And I think what I'm fusing you into has Mudo Boost naturally anyway. But I mean, I guess since Belial has Argidyne, I can probably afford to get rid of that. Null Lights. And I don't have enough of a social link for that, unfortunately. Well, I do have enough of a social link, but it's just not enough to get me to Null Light. Okay, so for now, I will keep that. And how much is it going to cost to get back Belial? Most likely quite a lot. When you're this late into the game, I find searching by level to be quite useful for finding things to fuse. 45,000. Just in preparation, I'll get you for now. And I might have to sell some stuff to make ends meet for the time being. Oh, and after all of that, I still need a strength persona.
Uh-huh.
Not sure how safe it is going to practice in this fog. That Sandman's still coming through for us, even this late.
All right.
I think I said early on, it's been such a long time, but having the lowest level persona of the Arcana and as cheap as possible is always useful for social link points.
Hey, man.
Is she that girl from before? Yep, thought so. Huh, maybe. Well, the only way to find out is to talk. A or C is fine there. Yeah, I think you need to address this. Yeah, now both of them must think that something was going on more than there already was. Both of them may have suspected ulterior motives or other things, but really, Daisuke was just too afraid to say anything. So that's Strength Rank 9. Or not, because things are still going.
I really did like you back then.
Well, at least you have closure. I actually really like this social link because it doesn't go the cliche route of Daisuke getting back together with his ex. She already has a boyfriend, but Daisuke's okay with it and he's moved on. I actually just then looked up what varsity means because I actually had no idea, which probably shows how much I am into sports. Hint, not much. But apparently it's relating to a university, especially Oxford or Cambridge, that's in British. But in North American, it's the principal team representing a high school or college in a sport or other competition. Okay, it's one of those words that's quite different across some different English-speaking cultures. So it usually refers to high school sport in the US, which I'm guessing is the usage here because it was localized by a US team. And in the UK, it's more university sports teams. So yeah, this increases your understanding more when you fold cranes, which still doesn't pay anything. Oh, okay, we've read all of the manuals. So yeah, that's yet another series of books finished. And since it's a Sunday, I can quickly go check just to see if, see what books we have left. I'm not going to read anything in the daytime because we're actually going to max out. Yeah, don't trust that, by the way. He'll always just be selling gas masks. Another reason to, finish Adachi's dungeon because hopefully that'll make the fog go away. But yeah, we're going to be seeing Death for the final time. Okay, we still have a few books left. Ocha Way, yeah, various Way books, and then Guide to Pests. So maybe like 8 or so more nights of reading. Oh, good thing I noticed that. In a New Game Plus, I have seen what it looks like when your vegetables have wilted, but you get plenty of time to harvest them before that happens. Guess we may as well speed this up. I've never actually said it before, but I love how they use like a TV fast-forwarding effect for speeding things up. The whole TV theme is conveyed through a lot of Persona 4, like even the menus are a bit reminiscent of TV test patterns, and you have the TV icon on loading screens, which actually is only a golden thing. In the original game, the loading screen icon was like just a card with some like colored circles around it. Are you saying anything new? Well, I mean, that's probably not the fog's fault, unfortunately. But even inside the Midnight Channel, some people have commented earlier about the whole, like, they can notice a bit of a static effect in the battles. That's entirely intentional. That's actually part of the Midnight Channel. It's not like an effect of the TV or of... you know, the way that I recorded this. It's not anything that I added in editing, it's entirely the game. They really go all in on the whole TV theme. It's honestly really cool. It's an aspect of this game that, like, yes. Persona 4's visual style is overall, like, it doesn't get as much focus as, say, Persona 5 and even Persona 3, but I still feel like it does have its own flair. Last day? Why is that? Oh, that's really nice of them, though. Yeah, that's true, and you should spend time with your family.
Will you accept this?
Yeah, I had a feeling it was what you used to write those letters. Now I'm sure we'll use this to write letters to our friends.
Thank you.
To everyone. Mahakala is a deity featured in Hinduism, Buddhism, and in Japanese religious traditions, and all of them interpret him slightly differently. In Hinduism, Mahakala is sometimes considered another aspect of Shiva. His name comes from Maha, meaning great, and Kala, which means either death or time, or blackness. He and his consort Mahakali form a void that can consume even time and space. And he seems to represent time as the inevitable destroyer of all things. In Buddhism, Mahakala is a protector deity, and is sometimes connected to Avalokiteshvara, who I mentioned back in Risei's Ultimate Persona bio. He's especially prominent in Tibetan Buddhist traditions. This Buddhist variation made its way to Japan, where he became known as Daikokuten, a literal translation of Great Blackness. And in this form, he's considered one of the 7 lucky gods, and is depicted with a much friendlier appearance and considered a god of wealth, the household, the kitchen, and abundance. And while this may seem like a stark contrast, he does have a 6-armed, 3-faced, sword-wielding guardian aspect known as Sanmen Daikoku, which is clearly the aspect that his in-game design is based on. It's speculated that his role in Japan is a result of his Buddhist version being combined with the Japanese deity Okuninushi. In-game, Mahakala can only be fused through a combination of Matador, White Rider, Mother Harlot, Daisojo, Hellbiker, and Trumpeter. And Shin Megami Tensei fans will notice these as the Fiends from Nocturne. Personally, I'm not sure why they made this reference, because Mahakala wasn't even in Nocturne. In fact, the only mainline SMT game he's been in is the first one. And he doesn't seem to have any connection with the Fiends in any of his appearances. Maybe it's because the Fiends all have skulls for faces, and Mahakala has often been depicted as having a terrifying appearance. Gameplay-wise, he's a bit weird. On the one hand, he has no weaknesses and a lot of nice immunities, and a stat build that leans towards physical attacking, including having the physical inheritance type. However, his learned skills are mostly magic, despite his magic being very low. He does get both power charge and mind charge naturally. Combined with his lack of weaknesses, this makes him good to switch to power up other personas. Like most death personas, he also learns instant death and Mudo boost, but I don't think his Marakidains are going to be doing very much damage, even with Fire Amp. And I personally find Myriad Arrows a pretty mediocre physical skill overall. In summary, Mahakala has solid stats and resistances, but if you want to use him, I'd recommend passing down strong physical skills rather than relying on his natural learn set. Well, yeah, we definitely do. We don't just mean romantically either, we've got family, we've got Nanako and Tojima too.
Live a long and full life. That is the greatest thing you can do for your beloved.
And as we're finishing up this social link, I can show something that I've been waiting until now to show.
I hope that one day we will meet again.
In the anime, we get a flashback to Hisano and her husband at the same summer festival that we attended ourselves. So we actually get to see what she looked like when she was younger, and here it is. We don't get a good view of what her husband looked like, but we're led to believe that he looked very similar to how Yu does right now. As much as I want to go inside the TV, we would lose the entire rest of the month if we did so yeah, we're not going to do that. Let's keep on reading, this time the Ocha way. The O is just like an honorific that means like honorable or something. It's attached to a lot of things. Like, even I think like otearai is like the Japanese word for bathroom or toilet, which is literally just wash your hands with an honorific in front of it.